Well, hi there, food friends. It's Kevin.
It is Kevin, and it's Ralph behind the camera.
And welcome to Cavalcade of Food. And we are making tomato eggs.
A tomato egg cheese bake.
Yes.
You might say. Boy, I love these colors. You can see why the Italian flag is red. Isn't it red, white, and
green?
Green, yeah. Boy.
So what we're doing is I've got some tomatoes here that are on the ripe side. And so we're going to sort of work it into our brunch. I got one already. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to
scoop out
the insides of the tomato, put an egg in it, and bake it.
Ooh.
Okay?
And then top with cheese.
And then top with cheese and some scallions. Real simple, but... You know, think about it, Ralph, especially in the summertime when tomatoes are like everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? So what we're going to do, I've actually, you know how I like to scoop the inside of the tomato out? I'm using a grapefruit spoon because it's kind of got that jagged edge.
Good for scooping.
Mm-hmm, good for scooping. And I'm just kind of going around the edge. And then you want to get the kind of the core here in the middle of the tomato.
And it just
like that. And then
it just comes out easily when you do it like that.
And then you just kind of want to get the seeds and the juice out. What we're going to do is, you know, when you roast tomatoes, something wonderful happens. Tomatoes this time of year, basically we're in very early spring right now, are not that great because they don't really have a lot of flavor. Because they're either grown in a greenhouse or they're grown somewhere way south where they're picked green and they don't really ripen on the vine or the plant. But see? So
what happens when you roast them?
They get sweet.
Oh, okay.
The roasting sort of brings out the natural sugars in the tomato and the fruit. And they sweeten up.
Roasted vegetables generally are so delicious anyway. With a little olive oil, a little seasoning.
By the way, speaking of olive oil, I put a little in the bottom of the baking dish there just to help the tomatoes so they won't stick. You could, if you had a use for the pulp here, I guess you could throw it in if you were making sauce or something.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Don't throw it away. I'll find a use for it. I think that's actually some of the best stuff, the insides. But as you roast the shell or the outer part of the tomato, it becomes more flavorful and sweet.
Well, and you're leaving enough. You know, we're just taking the core out.
Oh, okay.
So see, you still have a lot of meat,
a lot of flesh,
inside the tomato, but. We're really just taking out the kind of the pulpy end.
Yeah.
So let me finish this last one, and then we'll come back. Okay, Ralph. So here's our little tomato cups. Doesn't that look nice?
Yeah.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to roast the tomatoes a little bit first before I put the eggs in.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Because
they take longer to cook than
the eggs. A little bit, yeah. Because the eggs will cook in maybe 10 minutes or so. But we need another 10 minutes on the tomatoes so they kind of really soften and get that roasted flavor. But before we put them in, we're going to just drizzle each with just a little more of the olive oil because that's always good, right?
Extra virgin.
Yep. And then I'm going to we're going to salt. Okay, do a little salt here and some nice ground pepper.
Salt with a deadly pepper. So,
and then I'm putting in just a pinch of garlic powder. Okay, just a little. This will just give a little
extra oomph.
Because garlic and tomatoes are like a great combination.
Yeah, for this.
We're going to garnish with the green onion, but
for this wonderful Mediterranean style recipe.
So, oven is at 400 degrees, and we're going to put these in for 10 minutes. Okay, let's take the
take a look at the tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
I can smell the olive oil cooking, which smells great.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a nice tomato. Okay. So.
See how they've lightened and colored?
So this is 10 minutes in the oven. You can see some of the juices have come up, okay, from the bottom.
Yeah.
Now what we're going to do is to each one, we're going to add an egg.
Kevin's so good at cracking eggs. I just get shell everywhere. I'm still not very good at that. But, so you give it a hard crack on the edge of the bowl and then finish the opening over the tomato.
There you go, just like so. Sometimes 2 cracks. Get that shell open.
This is really a simple and easy recipe we wanted to let you know or remind you. And yet, this would really impress your friends if you wanted to...
Great for a brunch.
A brunch or something, yeah.
Definitely.
Looks like a little sunrise in a tomato cup.
Definitely great for a brunch. We're not going to put the cheese on yet. That'll be the last thing,
right.
okay?
So in stages, the tomatoes first because they cook longer, then the eggs, and then the cheese.
And then what I'm going to do is...
then scallions.
The scallions are for our garnish, but they'll also give a nice little onion flavor. I'm going to put just a little salt and pepper on the eggs. And I'm just using a seasoned salt here. So we're good and seasoned all the way through. Okay.
This is pretty healthy too, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think so. You got your egg, you got your vegetable. All right, let's put this in for another 10 minutes. Okay. Then we'll come back and we'll put our cheese on top and we'll put it back in the oven again. So it's a little it's a little back and forth with the oven.
Stages.
But worth it, yeah.
But worth it. I'm sure it's going to be yummy.
So it's been 10, well, looks like 11 minutes actually. We're going to take these out.
Wow.
Now you can see the eggs are just starting to set up a little bit. Okay?
What temperature was the oven at?
400. So now what we're going to do, Ralph, is we got our little Parmesan. So the eggs aren't quite done yet, but we're going to put this Parmesan cheese on top.
So that it has a chance to do its thing.
Do its thing, get nice and melty.
Parmesan.
And the eggs will cook a little bit more. So
we're getting close.
We are there almost.
And then the last thing after they come out is the...
Yeah, we're going to...
Garnish.
Yeah, we're going to chop those up. Okay, how's that? So some nice Parmesan on the top. Like I think we might have been talking about off camera. You could put any kind of cheese on this.
Right, mozzarella,
a cheddar, Monterey Jack, something like that.
Something good and melty.
But I had that Parmesan cheese. Okay, so here's our scallions. And here's how I kind of like to cut them. I try to line them up a little bit. And then I just sort of disregard the little tips because they're all
uneven.
Yeah, and jagged. And then we're just going to slice through here. I'll just cut it off. We don't need all of it, but you can keep this fresh in a little airtight container in the fridge, and we can just garnish our little hearts out for the next couple of days.
And in terms of garnishes for this dish, you could also do maybe like fresh oregano or parsley.
Basil would be great too.
Oh, basil, yeah.
Okay, so I cut down to about there. So, of course, the closer you get to the root, the more oniony kind of it is. The green part is just sort of nice and subtle. So we'll put this here. We'll have this at the ready. And then we will just wait till our tomato, what are we calling it? Tomato, egg, tomato, bake.
Cheese is in there somewhere. We'll come up with something.
We'll come up with a great title by the time we're done with this. Okay, Ralph, I'm going to shut the oven off here. They've been in another 10 minutes. So, How's that?
They look great, and that, oh yeah.
See how that cheese is melted?
I love the
You can kind of hear it.
Yeah, I can hear it sizzling, but I love the aromas of the oil, the olive oils, the cheese, even the tomatoes kind of sweet.
You can see this tomato sort of
collapsing
a little bit. We'll have to be careful taking it out, but that's, you want the tomato to break down a little bit because it should be really tender.
And how do you know the eggs are cooked long enough? Because you can't see them.
Well, you can't see them, so you know what?
It's just a matter of
a hope and a prayer.
Okay.
But they've cooked now 20 minutes, 10 minutes the first time, and then 10 minutes the second time.
Right. So by the length of them being at a 400 degree oven,
I think they'll be cooked fine.
Yeah, they look
okay.
Like it.
So anyways, we're going to just let that cool for another couple minutes, and then what we're going to do is we're going to transfer it to a plate. I've got a nice pita here that I've warmed up. I'm going to cut it in half.
A puffy pita.
And we're going to serve any kind of bread, of course, would be nice to have with this, so we're going to just serve it.
We happen to have this. It kind of keeps with the Mediterranean theme, and we were saying that you could Mexican this up to this dish if you wanted to use like chili spices, Munster cheese, and maybe even jalapenos as a garnish.
Yeah, you definitely could. You could, if you wanted to even make it, you could add some meat in here if you wanted to. If you had some crumpled bacon, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You could put that either under the egg.
Or some seasoned hamburger.
Or whatever. So again, you know what? We like to do recipes that have all kinds of variations depending on your own taste.
A world of possibilities, but the fact that it's simple and easy, but I think it's going to look really impressive when it's done. Those are key.
All right. So you know what? I think they're cooled off. I'm going to try to get in under here. Transfer to a bowl like so. How's that?
Looks pretty.
So here we are.
Don't forget the garnish.
Oh, thank you. It's right here in front of me.
Voila.
Isn't that beautiful? Now, you bring that out, and who wouldn't enjoy? So what we're going to do, look how tender that tomato is.
Mm-hmm.
And then the egg.
If you like it a little on the softer side.
We can see, I think they're all
going to be like that. That's fine. But just for folks who want it to be on the runny or softer side, I should say.
Just don't cook it as long. So I'll put a note. But here we go.
Is it as tasty as it looks?
Yeah. The tomato. So nice.
Getting the flavors of the olive oil and the seasonings and the garnish.
And the little bit of onion.
Did the tomato kind of sweeten up a bit with the...
Very much. Yeah. And then you could dip your bread in there. So...
Create a little sandwich with your pita or whatever bread you're using.
So here it is, folks.
We're going to call
up with it.
Egg in tomato bake.
Egg in tomato bake.
In is an important word.
Yeah.
Because
the egg's in the tomato.
Yeah, because if you just say egg and tomato, you think it's a mixture. But egg in tomato bake.
Delicious. So you know what? We had a great time putting this one together.
Sure did.
Hope you had fun being with us.
I did.
And you know what? We'll see you next time right here on
Cavalcade of Food.
Bye everybody.
Y'all.